Upadhyay. Sure. So we'll start with Mr. Troy.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to be with you, as I said earlier today, and I'm seeing that there's a great benefit for all of you in the audience from some of the really true experts in their various fields. I've been asked to, with Mr. Debashankar, to talk on innovation in franchising, or how important innovation is to franchising, and I think in this day and age you can't talk on that subject without talking about technology. So what I think I'll do is I'll quickly run through this slideshow and touch base on the things that I did to research this topic, so that I could bring my presentation to you here today. So interestingly, this is a disclaimer. I'm not a tech guy. I'm a international business development professional and a franchise expert. But technology, frankly, is not an area that I've considered myself an expert. So it was very interesting to research this topic. But if you look at the quote, it says, "We live in a society exquisitely dependent on science and technology, in which no one knows about science and technology, really technically knows anything about it." And that describes me and probably most of the people in this room. You know, you think about technology and people speaking about technology, you think about people like Steve Jobs, who said innovation distinguishes between leaders and followers. But even your own prime minister realizes the importance of technology. He says the pace which people are taking to digital technology defies our stereotypes of age, education, and income. So it's not just the tech experts or the people who have made their billions in technology, but it's government leaders and business and industry leaders that understand the importance of technology. There's a couple of terms that I mentioned earlier at the breakfast session that are becoming very prominent in franchising, and 10 years ago you would have never heard these terms used in the context of franchising. One is big data, and the other is IR, or Industrial Revolution 4.0. So these are, you know, in the morning session, Gaurav Maurya spoke about macro factors, and these are really macro elements that are contributing to the way business and industry operate. This is a quote. I'm not sure we're going to be able to read it all, but you know, it talks about how times have changed. Jack Ma, who is Alibaba, who is one of the innovators in technology, is talking about advancement in technology, and essentially what he's saying is it's not you know, a 5-year plan or what you do next year. I mean, technology is changing, and innovations are happening daily and weekly, which makes it very difficult to remain competitive in business and industry. And there's this term disruption versus innovation. Has everybody heard the two terms? And understanding what the difference is. So disruption and innovation, disruption is always innovation, but innovation is not disruption. And really what we're seeing in today's franchise industry is that the disruptions in technology are actually impacting the franchise industry. So technology is impacting every aspect of life. You're looking at impacts on business and communication, education, military, government, etc. But for the purposes of this presentation, I'll focus on just on the business element. So has everybody heard the term Amazon effect? Amazon effect is one of the key factors affecting retail and brick and mortar business and all business, retail and service businesses in the world we live in. And the Amazon effect is the ongoing evolution and disruption of the retail market, online and in physical outlets, resulting from the increased use of the internet and online shopping. So what is the Amazon effect doing? There's a few things that it's doing. It's actually creating a shift in consumers, which is affecting retails and brick and mortar businesses quite dramatically. And it's creating hybrid models like click and collect. So click and collect is you buy something and you go and pick it up physically. And one of the interesting things is that when the Amazon effect started to take hold, the fashion retailers and product sellers that were populating some of the leading malls around the world started to suffer. And the malls effectively said, look, we won't worry too much about this. It's not our problem. We'll just lease the spaces to restaurants because restaurants aren't affected by this tech advancement as much. But the truth is that shifted the balance in the shopping center tenant mix. And then because there were too many restaurants, they started to cannibalize each other. And the mall said, hey, wait a minute. This is a big problem for us. And so what's happening due to the Amazon effect is that shopping centers and malls are really having to think much differently in terms of how they balance their tenant mix and how they offer their products and services to potential visitors and consumers. I want to show you a video. This is from a company called Capital Land. Capital Land is owned by the Singapore government through a Temasek, which is a government investment company, one of the biggest property developers in Asia. And this is how technology has driven them to market their business. So that's today's marketing of a new mall property. If you go to the U.S. and you look at the shopping centers and the malls in the U.S., what you'll find is there are more of the malls in the U.S. dying than growing. And the problem is that they haven't been able to embrace innovation. And some of the new properties that you're seeing coming up in India and in parts of Asia and the emerging world, in places like Singapore, really get the world we live in today, and they're building their marketing and their tenant mix around that world, which is critical. So this is how technology benefits franchises. Technology can help franchises use their capital and human resources more effectively. It provides franchises greater efficiency and versatility. In many cases, you have to make investments, but with the price of technology being much more affordable and the cost benefit on those investments typically in this day and age is much more balanced, and it's a lot easier for smaller companies just starting in franchising to afford to invest in technology. And these are some of the key areas that it can benefit your franchise using technology. Your productivity, your financial management, marketing, training and development, customer service engagement, mobile workplace management, and telecommuting are some of the many areas. We talk a lot about maximizing productivity, cloud technology now. I've recently seen a few international companies that are promoting cloud technology. And it's just incredible what you can get in terms of value from cloud technology platforms that would have been unheard of, just 3 to 5 years ago. So cloud technology can help you consolidate your platforms for your systems, tools, and processes. It gives you real-time inventory management, real-time labor management, unified gift card functionality, integrated consumer data and loyalty programs, click and collect programs, information integrity, and enhanced customer experience. Just many ways that a good cloud system can help you manage your business and help you and your franchisees integrate and cooperate, work together. Rewards and loyalty programs. Online rewards and online loyalty programs are really becoming very critical to businesses. This is an incredible statistic. Starbucks has more capital in deposits from their rewards program than most banks. You look at the number, I think it's $1.2 billion that they're holding in other people's capital from selling reward cards, and that number is really quite mind-boggling. Third-party delivery services. I think that Food Panda is. Am I right to say they're pretty big here in India? You're seeing more and more brands adopt these third-party third-party delivery services, and the companies that aren't embracing these, I think, are actually falling behind. So this is another area on enhancing your business if you're, particularly if you're in the food and beverage business. Beacon and proximity marketing. Beacon marketing and proximity marketing effectively allow you to use Bluetooth and other technology to send messages to people who are near your inside or near your establishment. And it's quite amazing what you see happening with these technologies. Again, not just in big business, but across the entire spectrum. Self-service ordering technology. India doesn't have a shortage of labor, certainly, but in places like Singapore, where there's a per capita income of more than 100,000 now a year, labor is very expensive, and they have a shortage of labor. They're reaching out and looking for new ways to increase productivity, and one is this self-service ordering technology, which has greatly enhanced their ability to deliver products to customers without adding more people into their restaurants. And it's not just McDonald's. Many different brands are embracing this technology. Digital merchandising solutions. It wasn't long ago where menu boards were printed, and if you wanted to add a new product, you had to print another piece of artwork and send it out. And when you have 1 or 2 stores, it's a challenge, but if you have 10,000 or 30,000, it's even more complicated. Nowadays, with the value or the cost of LCD and video technology dropping, people are switching to digital menu boards. So it saves them money because integrating updates into the system is much easier. But what it also does is it allows you to, in one day, have 3 different promotions on the same menu board for different meal segments. So perhaps you have a breakfast promotion in the morning, and then you switch it over to lunch or dinner, or maybe a snack promotion in the afternoon. And it's not just the big boys, again, that are using this technology. It's so affordable now that just about everybody can embrace it in different scales and different shapes and sizes. Product equipment and technology. You can't talk about innovation if you don't talk about advances in equipment. I just used the coffee segment as an example. Costa Coffee, which you're probably familiar with, has an automated machine now, which is populating a lot of petrol stations across Asia, and you can walk in and put a couple of dollars in and get a pretty darn good cup of coffee. And they couldn't have done that 10 or 15 years ago. The technology wouldn't allow it. And now Starbucks has created Vita, which is an instant coffee, which you can pour out of a packet, and it really tastes very, very good. It's of a very high standard. I'm told I have a minute left, so I'm going to blaze through this. Speaking of Blaze, this is Blaze Pizza. They have they're using a pizza oven which cooks pizza that would normally take 10 minutes in 4 minutes. So again, the equipment technology advancements are allowing for quality enhancements, and likewise. And this is a juice business, Pure Nectar, which used to use a blender. Now they have a machine that takes 14,000 pounds of pressure and squeezes every last bit of mineral and vitamin out of the fruit, and they've created a completely different distribution business. Again, 10 years ago, that piece of equipment didn't exist. I think I'll pass over this one. Access to the internet. This morning I was talking about this, and this just blows me away. So urbanization, access to the internet drives technology. There's 462 million people in India using the internet. It's the second highest in the world. That's mind-boggling in and of itself. But you look at the next slide, and India is the third most likely country to have increases in the most increases in internet users over the next 5 years. So you're the second largest user with the third most highest potential of growth. You're really probably number two because Brazil has such a low starting point, even though they have a very large population. So the internet growth is going to continue in this country, and that's going to benefit people who embrace technology. And this is a fintech slide. I'm going to skip over this. This is my conclusion. Either you catch up and keep up, or you have to give up. You can't avoid embracing technology in this world we live in. One very interesting final comment is about markets like India, which the evolution of retail and franchising has happened so fast, is that, frankly, India and some of the emerging markets, the slide I skipped was about emerging markets actually leading the way in technology. And one thing that the term in technology is leapfrogging. So some of the emerging markets are actually skipping parts of the franchise and industrial revolution and going straight to the tech, and therefore bypassing a lot of the developed countries which had applied other methods and other technologies, older technologies previously. So you're in a great situation. You got a big population, a young population, embracing technology. If you're in the franchise business, to me it's not a matter of waiting until you get to 50 or 100 stores. You really need to embrace technology from day one and find a way to use it to maximize your business. And I'll apologize to my co-presenter for hogging so much time. I know he was brilliant earlier today, and I'm sure he's got a lot of great things to say about this, so I'll share the stage with him now. Thank you.